Well, much of the world is still reacting to the death of Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. The 58-year-old succumbed to cancer after 14 years as the controversial leader of Venezuela. This is the last picture released of Chavez after getting cancer surgery in Cuba. He was an outspoken and fierce critic of American influence, but at the same time, the U.S. was his biggest oil customer. Now, news of Chavez's death stunned many Venezuelans. Huge crowds poured into the streets of the capital of Caracas. The country has declared 7 days of national mourning. Joining us this morning is Pamela Falk, CBS News foreign affairs analyst. Pam, good morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
So, I mean, this doesn't come as a complete shock. Just yesterday, I think we heard his condition was delicate. I think that was the word they used. But Chavez was kind of the first of a series of socialist leaders in the area.
Absolutely.
How do you think his death will impact the area?
Well, in Venezuela itself, there's going to be a big choice to be made, and that's between Maduro, who is his heir apparent, who is made in his image, or Enrique Capriles, who's really a Democrat, capitalist, and so it's status quo or change. And that's a big choice. People either love Chavez or hate him, and he sort of became a Fidel Castro with petrodollars.
Yeah, definitely. So it's sort of up in the air the kind of impact it will have, his passing will have on Latin America. What about U.S. relations?
Well, economically, as you mentioned, Venezuela had, even with tense relations, was still the fourth largest supplier of oil to the United States. So economic relations had continued, but the political relations had soured, obviously, over the years, and they had gotten worse and worse. But I think now you're going to see an opening that the United States will try to find to move into a better political relationship, particularly if the situation changes. Part of the problem is Venezuela is very polarized, and these years of a very hard fist and a very tight regime where there were human rights abuses, wasn't freedom of speech, that has made it more polarized. So it has the potential of getting a little tougher before it opens up.
We'll be watching that area closely. Now we're going to go to another part of the world. The U.S. and China getting together to propose very tough sanctions against North Korea because of their third nuclear test there. Yeah, and you know, China has been back and forth. They've certainly supported some of the sanctions. They've blocked other measures to limit North Korea. And they're an ally of North Korea as well. Do you think these sanctions will make a difference?
Yes, they will. And that's partly because after this third nuclear test, China came down hard. Don't do it. And when North Korea went ahead with it, they really decided they were going to allow much tougher sanctions. So this resolution will have teeth. It goes into verification, inspection. It adds other people and businesses to the lists. And that's because the new leadership in China really wants to make sure that they're sending a message to North Korea, at the same time not allowing it to collapse.
Very quickly, what do you think of Dennis Rodman's trip there?
Well, it was naive to a fare thee well, but it sometimes has worked with ping-pong diplomacy or other things. But there's no underestimating a star going in wide-eyed and naive to a very difficult situation.
Indeed. Pamela Falk, CBS News foreign affairs analyst. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely, Anne-Marie.